Oh, we are right back at it. This is now. Listen, before we even get to the introductions, I'm just gonna say, prepare. Tonight is gonna be one of those ones, man. We got the Quiet Storm. I see you got the black and gold on. Shout '06. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
six, baby.
The Quiet Storm '06 out here looking as dapper as ever. We are here back. I am Ace, as you can see. Chicago, what up? What up? We here. We know what this is tonight. You see it scrolling at the bottom. Top 15 NBA players of all time. You got two generations here. You got different vantage points. You got different ideas. And I'm telling you here, we are starting with some wonderful things tonight. How you feeling tonight, though, Dad? What's going on?
I'm feeling great tonight. My son, my man, my mellow, my ace, firstborn. My, I hate the word seed. I don't know where that came from, man. I always get on the show and I hate the word. That's your seed. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Man. I haven't gotten to that level of being woke yet.
I hear you, man. We
So
out here,
until
beloved. You know what
then,
I'm saying?
nah, you're just my firstborn, my namesake, all of that. I don't know about that seed stuff, but to everyone, good evening. I am the Quiet Storm.
Yes,
I
yes.
am the proud father of that young man you see right there,
You know what I mean?
Ace,
Quiet Storm Junior, young Quiet Storm, but I'm not
young
the
Quiet. That's
Quiet
right.
Storm. There's
That's
only
right. The
one.
young Quiet.
So, you know what I'm saying?
So I'm
So
feeling
we
good. I'm
here, man. You,
feeling
you feeling all right?
yeah, I'm
Because you
feeling
gonna have
good.
some
I am
you're gonna
looking
have to
forward to
defend some
tonight
things tonight.
because it's gonna be
You gonna
crazy.
have to defend some things tonight, big baby. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk tonight. We're not gonna hit you with a bunch of stats. You know the credentials of these guys. We just
Hmm.
gonna let you know this is our personal. Now I'm gonna say this. This is our personal top 15. We're not trying to rank for everybody in the world. I know
Right.
people are gonna hate it. It's fine. We're here for the arguments. We're here for the what the hell are y'all talking about? I'm cool with that. But
Yes.
this is our personal top 15. But if you say something crazy about my dad, I'm finding out where you are and I'm rolling up. That's all I'm saying. Don't keep it keep it nice. You know what I'm
I
saying?
appreciate that
Because
because
I'm rolling out for you.
they gonna call me a dinosaur when they hear my list because
They might. They might. I
they
might call
might
you that.
they
I
might
might call. I might call you a little.
you know what I mean. But
I
my
might.
list is what my
I might
list is.
brontosaurus you a little bit. But
Hey,
that's
listen, my
cool.
list is my list, and
I
at the
got you.
end of the
I
day,
got you.
I'm gonna have my vantage point and reasons for that list. And I think this is what's wonderful about sports or about anything in which you're trying to rank something. It's
Right.
hard to when you start ranking NBA stars, baseball, you can arguably say who might be the best baseball player ever,
Right.
right? You can arguably say who might be the best basketball player. There's only going to come down to one or two names.
Right.
You're gonna football is the same way. Who is the best football player ever? It's gonna come down to really a couple of names,
It's always the best, man. The
right?
barbershop talk. That's what we're here for.
Barbershop talk. Basketball is one of those sports that inflames the passions of people who are general managers from the barber's chair. They know everything about everything, and
They
you
do.
can't tell them otherwise. So our list is not from a professional point of view. I like telling the viewers that we're not professionals at this. We're just sports fans, and as
Right.
sport fans, we're gonna give you the average take on who we think is the
Right.
best at that respective sport,
Right.
or
One hundred
who's
percent.
played. Because just because you play the best over a 3 year period, don't make you the greatest of all time.
It
And
doesn't.
I think a lot of times
It doesn't.
people, fans, get into that mindset that hey, man, from '82 to '84, the greatest player to ever put on a uniform was so and so. That might be true, but over 15 years, he wasn't. He had a great run,
He did.
but what happened to those 11 years? So sometimes we get caught up in the numbers. We get caught up in what sportscasters, the ones who get paid to make these lists, say. We hear them talk and we start formulating an opinion.
Right.
We're not. The both of us aren't those guys. We don't
We're
care
not
about
those
that.
guys. I'm gonna just let you know this is my 15, and we can handle it how you want to handle it, man.
Yeah,
We're
you
gonna
can
be
take it
nice.
as
We
you
we
want
can
to.
banter back and forth, but let's not get wild with the words. All I'm
So
saying is, I tried to before I even get to 15, I tried to sneak Scottie Pippen on here on some.
I did too.
I tried to sneak Scotty on here.
I'm looking at this
petty.
list. And I'm saying, who can I take off to add Scotty and not cause no problems?
Shout out to my man Damien. You see me. We out here. You see us out here. Bill Cartwright, what up?
Listen,
you feel me? I tried to get Bill Cartwright number 92. You know what I'm saying? Try.
There you go. There you go. So I say we get right into it, everybody.
Let's get right into it.
Let's have a good time.
I ain't got no problem kicking it off, man. I'm not afraid of none of y'all, man. 15, we going Kevin Durant at number 15. I didn't want to put him here. I didn't want to put him here, but you look at it, when you think of best players, just if somebody's coming down, different planet, who's my 15? KD's got to be on there. He's 7 feet tall, handles like a guard, shoots as well as anybody in the league, not named Steph. He's unbelievable, man. I understand he hopped on the Golden State bandwagons for his titles, but he got 2 finals MVPs in those championships. It matters. He's got scoring titles. He's got 2 championships. He's got an MVP under his belt. Rookie of the year. Like, KD comes in at 15 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to put him on there. Now, I understand, Delvin. I hear you. I don't know if you think it's too high or too low. But when you just feel me out. We just starting here with the 15. I understand. You know what? I had KD from 13 to 15. So that was my range for him. Maybe 13 would have been cool. I have him at 15 because I can't put him above these other 14 guys I have. That's just simple for me. Now, before I reveal your number 15, you got to let me know you ready, man. Because I didn't get crazy. You got to let me know you ready. You just tell me when you're ready, and I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to just hit it.
First of all, to comment on your pick, I can't be mad at that pick.
Right.
I can't be mad at Kevin Durant because I have the feeling that he's one more championship away from being even higher than 15. So I can see where Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he's going to try to find his way there this year.
Exactly. He's going to do all he can to get there. So I can't be mad at that. Put up my number 15 for me.
You sure?
Quick. Yes, sir. Put him up. David Robinson, the Admiral. Now, for you younger cats, y'all don't even know who David Robinson is, man.
We know who David is.
My son will know who David Robinson is. I was going to shut up. But David Robinson sort of changed the way a mobile big man moved in the NBA. We'll get to Hakeem Olajuwon later. We'll get to some of these big men later. But David Robinson changed how big men moved. And I think what also helped him was him being a lefty. It's hard to guard lefties in the NBA. Most people grew up guarding righties. It's hard to guard a lefty who could put the ball in the hoop. Excellent defensive player. His stats were a 2-time NBA champion, MVP in 1995, 10-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first team, 4-time All-Defensive team.
Right.
He led the league in scoring in 94, which I didn't even know until I
Now, this is how I know we got some good listeners. My man Delvin, you remember that last game of the season where he dropped 73 to win the scoring title? I remember that, man.
I remember that. I remember
that. He went. Now, that's the year that they gave him the MVP and Hakeem took that personal, right?
Yeah, Hakeem took that real personal.
Hakeem wasn't about that life. Hakeem wasn't about that.
Yeah, Hakeem was like,
my man Hakeem,
I don't appreciate that. Yeah,
my man. Listen, Hakeem wasn't about that. You were about to take my. But you know what? There's not a whole lot of like hate. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Admiral, we got, Robinson the good. My man Delvin says Robinson's not a bad 15. Okay. I'm with it, Now, would I put him at 15? Of course not.
No, of course not.
Of course not. But
that's okay.
Legit player, man. David Robinson was really good. I'm not mad at it. We're going to get straight to my 14.
Mm-hmm.
We're going Oscar at 14.
Wow.
We throwing Oscar at 14. Now, here's what. Now, I can't go off of just numbers.
Yes.
I got to go. This is my personal. I wasn't around a whole lot when Oscar, but I know Oscar was that guy. I know Oscar was dope. He's got the MVP. He's got the title. 12 All Stars, 3 All-Star MVPs. Like I'm just looking. This is a couple of things. Like he's led the league in assists, triple double machine. Oscar was that first point guard who was just devastating. Like I know that we've had good point guards, but he was just a devastating force on every single facet of basketball. I gotta put him up here. He had to make my top 15. Had to.
Yeah.
Had to. Now, a lot
that's
of people are gonna want him higher. I get that.
right.
I can't do it, Chief. I can't. I'm not gonna be able to do it, Chief. I can't do it. I had to put him at 14, and that shout out to Oscar, man. And yes,
Shout
Oscar's
out to
above Kevin.
shout out to the big
I
O.
can't. I can't do. You know what, Kevin? But this is that range. 13, 14, and 15 for me
Hmm.
had was interchangeable. I decided on this here, so
Okay.
that's where I got him right here. You're 14.
My number 14.
All right, you let me know when you're ready again, because you came out hot.
Put
You
him
let me.
on there, man. Bill Russell.
Ooh,
Now,
at 14.
now, I have to put Bill Russell at 14 for all of the youngins out there. I understand Bill Russell played in a league that might have had 10 teams. I get it.
All
I
right.
get it. I
All
get
the
it.
youngins are wondering why you got him so low. That's what I'm saying.
Now, I will say, once you hear the rest of the list, I think you'll understand a little bit better. But I
Okay.
think Bill Russell, as great as he may be more known for being able to guard, the only one to really man up against Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was beating people down
He
game
was.
after game. When he faced those Celtics teams just said, Bill, you got to do what you got to do. And that team was always better than the Lakers teams at that time. It wasn't just Bill Russell. It was Bill Russell and everybody he had around him. But defensively, they knew how to guard Chamberlain in ways other teams didn't.
Bill was
And
unbelievable. Bill was
and he
awesome.
was unbelievable. And I think
Yeah.
that to not have him in the top 15 would be a travesty. Now,
I
there are
agree.
going to be some when you hear names later that say, okay, well, Bill
I
Russell
agree.
should be better. But let's play this out first. But I think, and when you look at his career stats,
Look at this man pandering. Look at him pandering
um,
to you already. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Look at this man.
thank you, man.
He don't
Thank you.
believe this man.
Bill Russell, 11-time champion. Now remember, 10 of those championships was as a player. One was as a player coach. So he actually coached the Celtics to one of those championships while being a player. I think that was his last championship in 1969.
Right.
5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 3-time first-team All-NBA, rebounding champion 4
Right.
years. He was just a different guy. He was a great player, regardless of his generation.
Now Bill Russell couldn't be high as a Celtics fan. Have him at 14. Are you gonna be able to ever go around any Boston fan putting him at 14 and not higher than that?
Well, if you look at unbiased Celtics fans, yes, but how many unbiased Celtics fans are there? So you're gonna have, if you put any Laker in front of Bill Russell, they're gonna have an argument with that. But if you look at basketball purity and you have to be fair and look at Bill Russell has to be in the top 15. I don't
Okay.
know if he's top 10 in today's NBA with as we get further down the list, but I have it hard to not have him in that top 15. And when I get to number 13, you'll see why.
Okay. All right. We'll hop into my 13. Isaiah. Yes,
Ooh.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know how you
Ooh.
can't. I don't know how you don't put Isaiah on this list.
I
Back to back
know.
championships in the 80s. Back to
Yeah.
back again and against Bird and McHale.
Yeah.
Against young,
I
like 26, 27-year-old Michael Jordan.
wow.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like against the Lakers, two-time champ. 25, what do you have? 26 on a broken ankle?
I believe so, yeah.
26 on a broken ankle, like on a super sprain in the finals. Like Isaiah was that guy, man. Like Isaiah was. I had a tough time putting Isaiah only at 13. Now I understand
Uh,
people don't want him over KD. Like young people want him over KD. I
okay.
understand. Some people want him over KD. I mean, some people want KD over Isaiah. That's fine. No, but Kevin is nowhere near as tough. Nowhere near like he didn't lead. KD has his titles with on a team with Steph, Draymond, and Clay. Man, it matters. It matters
Hmm.
that what you lead. Now, yes, like he had Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer. I get that. That's not the same, man. It's not the
Yeah.
same. These little things matter. Now, can you put KD at 13 and Isaiah at 15? Sure. I had a little. These were my three: 13, 14, and 15. That's where I'm at. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. People got KD. People think KD is like, I don't know, man. The whole KD thing, he's amazing. He's top 15 of all time. We're talking ever. You're not making fun of anybody putting him at 15 ever, man. That's all I'm saying. We're
Mm-hmm.
on to your
Wow.
13.
Ooh, that's a good.
We're on to your. You
Listen,
see
before we
Isaiah,
get to my
man.
13,
I'm out here.
it, listen, that Isaiah Thomas pick
I'm out here.
has me torn because he and my number 13 were flip flopping. And I went with, go ahead and put him up.
All right. So we're
My
gonna put up
number
your 13.
13
Bang.
is Oscar Robertson. Now, I it was torn between Isaiah and Oscar because you look at what Isaiah was able to do with his position and say that he's got to be in that mix. He's got to be in that conversation. But my early years of watching basketball, some of the first games I saw were the Milwaukee Bucks. They had Lou Alcindor, who just
Mm,
got in the league, and Oscar Robertson, who was on the tail end of his career. And even then, he wasn't guardable. Even at that age, the Big O was just not guardable. He deferred to Kareem, and before Kareem went to the Lakers,
right.
he deferred to Kareem. He wasn't Kareem at that time. But Oscar Robertson, even in his 30s, is like LeBron now. Like, how do you guard him? Oscar Robertson changed the power forward position
Right.
forever. He changed the position. He was
Point
one
guard
of the
position. Yeah,
he's one of
absolutely.
the only few players that's part of the 50-40-90 club, where he shot 50% from the floor, 40% from uh, I'm sorry, 90% from the free throw line. He didn't at that time. They didn't have a 3-point line, so he's not in the 50-40 club. I'm gonna get to somebody who's in that club, but he was just a great all-around shooter, excellent defender, and I have him at 13. I started to put him at 14, but I put him at 13, and I had to take Isaiah out. And I know I'm sorry for that, but I had to take
I hear
Isaiah.
you. All right. Now,
Number 12. Oh boy.
I promise I try. Listen, I promise I wanted him to go higher. I really
Okay.
did. Now, and I'm looking at it. I got to do it, man. I have to, man.
Oh,
Kobe, listen to what
I'm gonna
Kobe could have
sip
been
on this.
high
I'm gonna
as
sip
high
on
as
this vodka and juice
Kobe
real
could have
quick
been
while
as
you
high as
explain
like
that
7 or 8 for me. Like when I come down to what I personally watch, what I personally want in a basketball, everything that gets all encompassed. Like Kobe could be as high as 7 for me. Kobe comes in at 12. Kobe was incredible, man. Kobe was unbelievable at basketball. Um, a lot of people think he's the closest thing to Jordan we ever had since, as far as tenacity, as far as shoot, you know, the fadeaway, the defense, the offense, the transition game, leading a team. A lot of what comes down to me having Kobe behind these next three guys, because
one.
I started with Kobe at 9.
Okay.
I personally I had Kobe top 10. I had Kobe at 9. And if I look at this on a different day, maybe he does end up 9 again for me. He ends up at 12 because of how these next guys won and who they
Mhm.
won with and how they jumped off the screen for me. Um,
Good.
now Kobe, man, I don't want to say saying negative things about Kobe feels bad, but oh man, Kobe. All right, you know what? I ain't scared of y'all. Kobe was unbelievable, man. But there's something about a Kobe who gets to the playoff game where Kobe gets into. They said he shot too much, so he decided I'm not shooting at all in the second half here. And then you're putting your team in positions to not win here. It's tough. Kobe, you know, a lot of the bad shots that Kobe took in the big thing. Now Kobe playing with a prime Shaq, unbelievable. Like I love Kobe, man. Like I had to put Kobe over Isaiah. I had to put Kobe over, my other guy. Like Kobe could, like again, he could be as high as here. This is just personal.
Hmm.
Kobe's unbelievable, man. I can see Kobe at 7. I have Kobe at 12 because I had to, man. I had to, and I know. Listen, whoever, like I know, man. I know, man. Like I feel, even doing it, it feels, but this is just how it felt when I was making this list, man. I had to do it. I had to
Right.
do it. I got Kobe at 12. I got
Okay.
Kobe at 12, and if I'm wrong, I hear you,
No,
but I'm
these
not
are.
wrong for me.
But listen, these are
I'm
not
not
right
wrong
or
for me.
wrong lists. These are just a personal list, and we'll give
Right.
everybody a chance to chime in
Oh no!
on it.
Listen, they chiming.
Oh, I see.
We got a crew here, young and nah.
Yeah, I
Listen, I
see. I
understand.
see.
I understand that one. That one is like don't take me saying Kobe is 12 as like steadfast. Kobe is that 7 to 9, 8, 9, 10 to 12. Like I understand. Kobe can
Hmm.
easily be there for me. So we're at your 12 now. Get off my back.
Number
You ready?
12,
Make it make
Julius
sense for
Irving.
me.
Now listen, Julius Irving was the reason why I wanted to play basketball. Everything was about Irving. You didn't. I remember. Here's a story about Julius Irving, that how great he was. When I was playing for Linden High, go
Mm.
Tigers, we went to Camden High School to play in a scrimmage. And that Camden High team had some of the best players to ever lace them up.
Was that Milt Wagner?
That was Milt Wagner, Dennis
Ooh.
Still, man, Craig Thompson. That team
Ooh.
was nasty. Every time Milt Wagner would launch a deep shot, and this was before the 3-point line, 4,000 people in that gym yelled out, Irving. It was like his name wasn't Milt Wagner. It was Milt Irving. It was, if Dr. J ever could have developed a pure jump shot,
Right.
he would be the all-time leader in points, because you just couldn't stop Dr. J,
Okay.
especially in transition. He was next level as far as a player. He was a specimen on the court. And also, we have to take into account his NBA stats are totally different, because remember, he played in the old ABA for many
Right.
years
Right.
with the New York Nets at the time when they were in the ABA. So a lot of these great players that are not making the list, and I think Oscar Robertson is on the list from that era, those guys, 8, 9 years, 6 to 8 years, played in the ABA. So those ABA stats didn't carry over to the NBA. Who knows what his stats could have been if he had a full NBA career? So that I weighed that also in my analysis for Julius Irving. He was
Dr.
just a
J was a
great. He
bad
was
man.
Dr. J was just a bad man. So I
Dr.
got
J
him
was
at
a
number
bad
12.
man. Okay. I'm not mad at that. This one, I've been looking forward to this all day. No, you're not making my top 10. No. You can't do anything with the rest of these guys. You know what? I'm mad I didn't put Kobe over him. I'm mad I didn't put right now. You know what? Kobe is number 11. Larry Bird's at 12. Larry's not doing anything with anybody else above him on this list. He's not, bro. Larry was. he's in the top 15. We got to understand that we're still have him in the top 15 ever. But no, he's not making my top 10. Absolutely not. He's not doing anything with anybody else from 10 up. He's not. He's not. And my next guy jumped over him, man. He did. He just jumped over him. And I'm cool with that. Larry's not doing it. Larry was a bad man. Larry was great, man. He could shoot. Nobody would, like, he had back problems for 7 straight years. If he has back problems now, they just throwing him in the post. What's Larry doing with Giannis in the post right now? What's Larry? Giannis is not even on here. What's Larry doing with KD, LeBron? Larry. The more I talk about it, Larry might be like 14, 15 to me, man.
Oh my God.
14, 15.
But I have to read to you this from one of my brothers here, Lionel Borden, says, with all due respect, if Kobe was still alive, he would be lower on many people's lists.
I gotta be the bad guy.
Man, however, there were more well-rounded and skilled players. I will get to you, Brother Borden, real soon.
Brother Borden. What up, Brother Borden? I can't be the bad guy always. That's fine. I'll be the bad guy. I love Kobe, man. But we gotta be objective with these players.
We have to be objective, and I'm gonna give all that. We'll get,
you know what I'm saying? And yeah, we out here. You know what? It might be it might be how I feel, Mix. Listen, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to do with y'all, bro. No, listen, you can't be mad at me. He put Bill Russell at 14. He's got 11 titles.
I see Nathan doesn't like the entire state of Indiana.
Yeah, he's Boston. Wow. Sometimes you gotta speak for me. Yes, I put Larry Bird. That's where he's at, man. Larry Bird is at 11 for me. He's not top 10 for me. He's not one of the 10, but he was. And then life happens, bro. Life happens and you get passed up, Larry. That's what happens, B. I'm not mad at you, but this is life, man.
Y'all about to get real upset at my number 11.
This is
Go ahead
life.
And put him up there.
You want me to put this 11 up here now?
Put him up there.
You want me to put your 11 up here right now?
Right.
You sure?
Put him up there now.
All right, because everybody's taking it easy on you for some reason.
Yeah. My number 11 player is Steph Curry. Now, before all of you disagree with that, understand what Steph Curry has done as of now. Now, he would not have been this high on my list,
right,
if not for his performance in this most recent NBA Finals. But you cannot say that Steph Curry is not the greatest shooter that has ever put on sneakers in the NBA. Period. He has changed how a guard can dominate the NBA. From a shooting position, from a shooting perspective. Not MJ was a guard, but he wasn't a shooting guard. Right? Steph Curry proved to everyone who was watching, that one guy, 6'3", 6'4", can literally take over a series by himself.
2 MVPs, one unanimous MVP.
Unanimous
MVP.
MVP to his
got his finals MVP.
He has his
all-time leading 3-point shooter.
Listen,
like he is. Listen,
Steph Curry. If Steph Curry is not in everybody's top 15, you're not watching the same.
He's a bad man. He's a bad man.
So I have Steph Curry at number 11, and he's
a bad man.
Probably could switch him with another player.
He's a bad
and
man.
Not feel bad about it.
Right.
But now listen. This list will change over time because none of these players are locked in stone except maybe 1 and 2. They could be flip-flop. But the rest of this list can change. But as of today, Steph Curry is my 11th best player ever.
Right. I got him at 10.
Nice.
I have him at 10.
He
hopped up to top 10 for me, man. Yep. Like, he was unbelievable this playoffs. He hopped into the final. Now, I can't put him above anybody. Like 10 is tough, but he's definitely over Larry. I need to put Kobe. I need to make this list different. I need to put Kobe. I need to move Kobe up right behind Steph. I can't believe I put Larry at 11. I'm saying it. Nah, man, can't do it. Larry, nah, whatever. This ain't about Larry Bird. This is about Steph making a leap to top 10. He's got his Finals MVP. It was the one thing that was missing off of his resume because he's
Mhm.
got scoring titles. He's the
Right,
best shooter ever.
right,
He's
right.
led his team. He's got 4 championships. Led this team without KD to
Hmm.
this championship. Unbelievable in the finals.
Very true. Very
Closed
true.
out games. He's like Steph.
But that
He
last
jumped the
point you
top 10
just
for me,
said,
man.
that
He
last
jumped the
point you
top 10
just
for me.
made, that last point you just made is very key. A closeout game.
Look at this guy, man. He just out here. He
Closeout.
pandering tonight. He pandering tonight. I'm not mad at you though, Delvin. I'm not
Hey,
mad at you.
Delvin knows
He
what he's talking
he
about. Leave
pandered.
Delvin
Oh, he
alone, man.
said David Robinson at 15 was cool. He don't know. I'm not. All right, bro. I feel you, Del. I feel you, my
Put,
man.
put up my number 10, man.
You ready for your number 10?
I'm ready for number 10.
I'm trying to remember who your number 10 was. I'm gonna see it in 1 second. Okay.
Number 10, Wilt Chamberlain. How the center position changed was because of Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was a guy that he was just, I mean, I didn't see Wilt Chamberlain play. I was too young to see him play. So all I have on Wilt Chamberlain is going on YouTube or looking up some videos, archives, and stuff like that to watch him play. And Wilt Chamberlain literally helped the NBA in many ways, even beyond the court. Now, listen, he had some stuff with him. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
Let's forget the sleeping with 10,000 women claim he has. I mean, listen,
10,000. Wow.
that's a lot of real estate to cover. But Wilt Chamberlain he has to be on everybody's top 10 because of how he played and how dominant he was as a player. Up until his last 2 years in the league, Wilt Chamberlain was just a dominant player.
How athletic Wilt was, man. Like,
Yes,
like
and
there's a
that
story
height could
about
run the
like,
court.
yeah, a story about like Arnold Schwarzenegger was telling a story about who's the strongest person
Mhm.
you've ever been. Eddie said Wilt Chamberlain was the strongest physically,
Mm,
and he's just running everything. Like Wilt was unbelievable, man. Like
yeah,
I'm surprised you have him this low. I'm surprised you got him this low because Wilt was
yeah.
unreal, man. But I'm cool with that. I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not
Mhm.
mad at that at all. I can't believe I haven't seen. You know what? Let me chill. Let me chill. Let me chill. Let me
Number
chill.
nine, number
Because we're gonna
nine.
get to my number 9. Let's scroll up. We're gonna get to my man. This one hurts, man. I tried to put this man at like 6, like 5, 6, man. I tried to. I really did, but I had to settle with him at number 9. My personal favorite center of all time. He's a bucket. You're not guarding him. You can't guard him. I was a short like on the court coming up, I was one of the taller kid. I was giving people dream shakes,
You doing
up
the
and
dream shake
unders.
on him?
I was out here. I was out here. Mid range game was like I'm the old man game at 17, dude. I had an old man Hakeem game at 15, man. I was out there smoking kids because they was out there all shooting no up and unders, pump fakes. You getting the up, yo Hakeem. You want to talk about both sides of the defensive player of the year,
Right.
rebounding champion, could pass the ball out of the double team as well as anybody else ever had. Those
Hmm.
Rocket teams, if you think about who was on those Rocket teams, who won
Hey,
back-to-back championships,
listen.
Kenny Smith, he was a good player, cool.
Cool,
Cedric Maxwell, cool. I give it to you.
cool.
Mario Ellie, like Sam Cassell,
Robert
they are
Ory. Okay.
solid guys.
Then when you start getting
That's
Clyde,
Hakeem, man.
yeah,
But you're
yeah.
talking about old Clyde.
Old Clyde.
Like this is Hakeem, man. Hakeem is the single best offensive center I've seen.
And
Now, not most dominant, just best all around. And he didn't start playing basketball till he was a teenager, man, late teenager. Like he was
right.
unbelievable, man. I
And let's
tried to
not
put
forget about
Hakeem. I
Sam
tried to get him at
Cassell on that
6.
team.
Now let's talk about. Now I understand you had Dave Robinson at 15. You want to talk about somebody? Oh wait, How many MVPs I got? Oh, David got my MVP. You want to talk about somebody walking into a playoff series and saying, I'm the best player in the world. Watch what
Hmm.
I do to your MVP. Like everything about Hakeem just made so much sense, man. He was
Hmm.
unreal to me, man. Unbelievable. So I got him at 9. I wanted to put him higher, but I couldn't because of these 8 guys I got in front of him. I couldn't quite get there with Hakeem. I wish I could,
Gotcha.
man. I wish I could have. I wish I could have.
Well,
Hakeem, what's up, my man?
then we have a conversation because put up my number 9, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Shaquille O'Neal coming out of LSU was different. The media hype behind Shaquille O'Neal, the pressure that Shaquille O'Neal brought to Orlando, because remember he played on some good Orlando teams with Penny Hardaway and Nick Anderson and two other guys. Shaquille was another guy who was unstoppable. He didn't have a signature move.
Unbelievable.
Shaquille O'Neal was just, let me get you in this paint. I'm either dunk over you or I'm gonna kiss it off the glass or a little
Jump hook.
small jump hook or
Right,
something.
right.
He
But then you
wasn't
think of young Shaq though. Young Shaq was running the
yeah,
floor,
running
nasty,
the floor like,
drop step,
yeah,
spin
man.
move. Young Shaq was a
Exactly.
menace.
Shaquille was just the type of guy that if he didn't, sometimes he got in his own way, as a lot of great ones do. Um, Maybe the attention that came his way, maybe the work ethic wasn't always there. Maybe the hype, players, the greater you are, the more the focus is on you, media wise, women, all of the distractions that come with
Right.
being who you are. Um, but Shaquille was just another guy, man, that just was must see TV. You had to watch him. You had to
He
watch
was
the games
unbelievable, man.
when Shaquille was playing.
Shaq was unreal, man.
Yeah,
Shaq was like pulling down rims as a kid coming up. Like I was born in '85, so Shaq,
right.
I was 10, 11, 12, like young Shaq ripping the backboard down.
Yeah,
Blue
man.
chip Shaq was like young lean, and then you get to the prime Shaq when they start winning the titles in LA. There is no, I haven't seen anything as dominant as what he did.
And when you start
Nothing,
getting sneakers and
nothing.
paraphernalia with you dunking and
Yeah,
grabbing the
just
rim
like
and all
Shaq
that,
was
when you
different,
start getting
man.
to that level,
Shaq
oh
was different,
yeah,
man.
it's a little different. So
Shaq was
I'm
different.
comfortable with Shaquille.
Before we get to my number 8, now I'm a Jordan. Look at me.
Yo,
Now
Delvin, I like
here's what
that
I would.
quote right there.
Here's what I'll
I'm
see
gonna
though.
get
Here,
to that quote later.
right. But my thing with that is maybe Hakeem doesn't win 2, but I think he wins 1. Bill Winnington and Bill Cartwright. Bill Winnington and Luke Longley were doing nothing with
And
Hakeem,
and,
man.
and Will Purdue
They were doing
and
no Will Purdue. They
but
weren't doing
listen, they got
anything
50,
with
they got
Hakeem, man.
between them they had 18 fouls to give,
They
man.
got they weren't doing any. They would have been up in the air just looking around for Hakeem. Hakeem would have had 40 and 17 on Luke Long every. Now I do think if they play twice, Mike figures it out. But Bill Winnington, man, Bill,
That's
nah,
that's
man.
interesting. That's
Hakeem's
interesting.
definitely. That's a good point. Everybody feels that way, but
Yeah.
Hakeem was different, man. There was nothing those Bulls were gonna do with. Nothing those Bulls were gonna
Yeah,
do with
but they would have
Hakeem.
been okay with Hakeem getting his. The rest of them aren't getting theirs.
But that's the thing about Hakeem. He
That
always kept
defensive
those guys
team,
involved, though. He
yeah,
kept
but
those
that
guys
defensive
involved, man.
team the Bulls had, they had 4 guys, starters on that team. Take away the center. They had 4 guys, starters on that team at some level of all NBA, all defense.
They didn't have
So,
Horace Grant in those years,
but
though. You got to take Horace Grant off. Now you don't have Horace Grant rebounding, and now you got Hakeem. Hakeem's getting every board, bro. Hakeem is. Y'all got me. Listen, don't let me talk about Hakeem in here. Hakeem is different, man. My 8. Now you had him at 9. I have Shaq
yes,
at 8
okay, okay,
because of like Shaq does have 4 titles. Shaq was the most dominant person I've ever seen. in those 2000 to 2002 Lakers years. That 2001 Lakers team might be one of my three best teams of all time because you can't. What are you doing with Kobe and Shaq playing in sync in their primes together? Like it was different, man. But
Yeah.
Shaq's dominance was unbelievable, and Shaq kept the longevity going. Shaq was you couldn't do anything with him, man. You couldn't. You could do nothing with him, and
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
like so. You had him at 9. I have him at 8. I think we looked at him right around there.
Yeah.
So that's simple. We don't need to go into Shaq too much more because we just did. Shaq's unbelievable.
My
Now
number 8.
your number 8. We're gonna go ahead and now we're gonna get.
It's gonna get
Now,
interesting.
you got how is he better than Shaq, bro? How is he
Larry
better than-
Bird.
You know what, man? Go ahead, bro.
Larry Bird. See,
Go ahead, Pop.
people are going to see when people start saying better than,
Go ahead, man.
they're looking at. I look at who
Mm-hmm.
was better than Larry Bird when Larry Bird was at his best.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Shaq,
Maybe
Steph,
Magic. No. No.
Hakeem.
No. Nobody saw the court better than Larry. Nobody made his teammates better. Nobody passed better than Larry, except for maybe Magic at that time.
Come on, man.
Nobody rebounded and gave his all night after night better than Larry. Larry was a slow white boy, but he was better than most of the fast black kids.
Come on, man.
He
No,
was
wasn't.
better.
No,
Larry
that,
Bird
man.
also changed the game in another way. He showed that a 6'9" can't jump 2 inches off the floor player
Larry was good, man.
is smarter than the rest of the guys on your team.
He was good.
And he backed it up by telling you so. He would tell you, there's a famous game where he told guys, I think it was Phoenix, he told them, I'm going to shoot the ball right there.
Come on, man.
There's
So what,
nothing
bro?
you're going to do about it.
So what?
He told them what they were going to do, and guess what he did? He took the
What,
ball,
man?
shot
I
the
can't
ball,
do it with Larry, man.
3-point game.
It's a
game
lot of
over.
nostalgia going on with Larry,
So here's
man.
another thing. If you want a player in the clutch with the game on the line, who do you want? Do you want
Dennis Johnson?
Larry Bird or Shaquille?
'Cause that's
Who do you want? Who do you
that's
want?
not
in the
how that
clutch?
works.
Larry
That's
Bird
not how that
or
works.
Shaquille?
That's not how that works.
Hack-
John Paxson.
Listen,
John Paxson hit.
Hack-a-Shaq came along for a reason. As dominant as Shaquille was, you put him on the free throw line, it was a liability.
Larry don't want no problems with Shaq, man.
You know what? And guess what? Larry Bird,
It's your list, man.
Shaq
I can't. It's your
Shaq
list, man.
himself said
It's your list, man.
Larry
What Shaq
Bird's
say?
top 5, and I got him at 8.
So I don't care what
so
Shaq say. It's
apparently
my
I'm wrong.
list. I ain't got nothing. Shaq ain't got nothing to
He's
me. It's my
number 8.
list. Shaq
Easy
don't.
number 8.
Shit,
He
Shaq
might
shortchanged
be. He
himself.
should be probably a little higher.
He should be like 12.
He should be 8.
Yeah, I should have had him at like 13. So I should have had
He
him. That's what I should have had him. Man.
should be 8.
Number 7, we're gonna make a travesty better. You can't give a man 11 championships and put him. Would you have him at 14?
Wait a minute.
Come on, bro. Yes.
Wait a minute. You're the same one that
Yes.
said Bill Russell played against
Yes.
8 teams.
He played
man.
against.
You're the
played against
same one.
Farmers but listen, he gave Wilt Fitz, man. He had Wilt out there, Jerry West Fitz, Elgin Fitz. They couldn't beat him. They couldn't. He was the guy out of all these guys. Oh man, they had great players back then. They couldn't beat him.
Right.
It doesn't matter who was on his team. They couldn't beat him.
Right.
Rebound, defense, running the floor. You couldn't beat him. And he's got 11 championships. Now, championships, of course, Robert Ory's got 6. I get it. All these guys. But you want to talk about championships plus greatness, plus the ability to make your team better. And they couldn't, no matter who they threw at him, no matter who he played in the finals every single year, they couldn't beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Bill. Bill's unbelievable, man. I can't believe you had him at 14. That's wild to me. You had
Yeah.
Bird at 8 and Bill Russell. That's what I'm
Yep.
saying, man. You out here
Because I
bugging.
think Shaquille and Wilt were just a tad bit better players, not better champions, but just better players. I mean, if you're going to talk championships, then
Yes,
you might as well
Shaq and
put
Wilt.
You
I'm
might as
not
well
mad at
put
you.
Wilt at number one because he has more championships. But you talk about better players.
Wait. Wilt has more championships than who? Nobody has more champions than Bill. Bill has 11
That's
of
what
them
I'm trying
things.
to tell you. If you're looking at championships
It's
only,
not right. It's not
then
just
Bill needs to be much higher.
right. It's not just championships though.
Right.
It's like it's talent as well. You got Bird. You know what? I'm gonna leave when your Birdman alone, man.
Bird is 8.
I'm gonna
Leave him
leave
alone.
Bird
is
like
8.
14 if you want to keep it funky.
And you're not going to be upset when you see my number 7.
Yeah,
Watch.
number 7. What's going on to number 7? Oh, that's the big fundamental.
The big fundamental.
That's the big fundamental at 7.
Tim Duncan.
I love me some big fundamental.
Was probably one of the best players I ever saw.
I love.
And he did it quietly. He didn't do it with a whole lot of emotion. He didn't do it with a whole lot of smack talk. He didn't beat his chest after every dunk. After every he knew how to kiss the ball off the backboard better than anybody other than Scottie Pippen. So, and I mean, he was just
defense.
I mean, you can't be mad at anybody looking at Tim Duncan and his career and what he meant to those teams in San Antonio. It can't be denied that Tim Duncan him at number 7 makes all the sense in the world to me.
I love Tim, man. He's the best player on all those Spurs teams, best player on those teams, offensive and defensive. You can argue that he was the best offensive all-around player in the league and the best defensive player.
At the same time.
Clutch. Yeah. Clutch. Won. Like, he won in different eras. Like, he was, I love Tim Duncan.
I mean, he played the game. Tim. Tim played the game the right way all the time. He played the game clean. He played the game respectfully. You hear a little story that he will say stuff like, not having a good day, huh, to a player. A little quietly, not having a good day. You know what I mean? But he didn't show up people. Guys never wanted to come at Tim Duncan like, I hate Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan would beat you, and you just sit back and look at his stat sheet. It's like, damn, he did all of that. Because there was always the quietest 20 and 12 games you ever saw.
Right.
It was always 26 and 13. And you look up like, damn,
right.
Yeah, 26 and 13? Because they were all quiet. Because that's the way those teams were.
He was
with
unbelievable.
The Spurs. But he was just a great player, man. And great player.
Okay. We're down to 6.
Uh-oh.
6 is where I have Wilt.
Okay.
6 is where I have Wilt, man. Wilt is it's just a dominance factor. I think Wilt, you could put Wilt in any era, and I think Wilt establishes dominance in any era.
Okay.
I think it's that simple. Everything that you said, I agree with, plus the dominance era, plus they had to change everything when he came along. They had to change everything part of the game when Wilt Chamberlain came along. Right. I think he was unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
We talked about him. That's where I have him at 6. We can hop to your number 6.
Yep.
Which we went over as well. I wanted to put him up here.
I have Hakeem Olajuwon at 6.
I wanted to put Hakeem up there so bad.
I wanted to, maybe I thought about moving Wilt up. I thought about moving Bill Russell up.
Yeah.
But there's just something about the way Olajuwon played the game in a very tough era. Now, remember, he played in that a very tough era himself. Very physical era, very strong era where people had beat you down defense.
Right.
And he was still dominating. Olajuwon was unguardable with his dream shake. He was just different. He was just different. Defensively, I think he led the league one year in blocks. He was just one of those great players. And as you mentioned, didn't start playing until he was a teenager. So he didn't have all that development
I love
as an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old. He started late in the game and became a dominant player just from pure work ethic and desire. So I'm comfortable with Hakeem at 6.
I wanted to put him at 6 too, man. I appreciate somebody doing it. Top 5.
Oh, here we go.
I put Tim Duncan at 5, man. I put
Oof.
Tim at 5.
Yeah.
Tim, you get I look. There are not many players who I've seen who are better at the game of basketball than Tim Duncan. We went over the
Mm,
fundamentals, but we went over the winning and the
yeah.
dominance that he showed fresh out of college, winning a championship soon as he steps into the league, and then they were the best team in the league as far as consistency every year that he like from day one till he ended. Man, they were just
Yeah.
so consistent. Everybody thought they were so boring and corny. I get it, man. Tim was that
Mhm.
guy, man. I
Yeah.
think Tim at 5. I know it's high for some people. Tim was Tim's that guy for
Well,
me, man.
you know,
Tim's that guy for me.
one of the things about Tim Duncan, I followed him at Wake Forest, being a Carolina ACC fan.
Right?
His
Duke, what up?
years at Wake Forest, um, you
It
knew
was
he was going to be really
you
good.
knew he was going to be
You
really
just
good.
knew this
One
guy
hundred
was going
percent.
to be real, real, real good.
I agree.
He just, I mean, I believe they won the ACC tournament before he came out. I think his senior, either junior or senior year, they won the ACC tournament. And I just remember watching him play, thinking, who in the NBA is going to be able to top, his little soft shot off the glass, his little
It's
touch
just
around the
his
rim.
touch was beautiful, man.
Yeah, he's
He can
just
rebound as
good.
good as anybody. Defense, block
Yeah,
shot, he was legit. Now,
right.
high size 4. I thought about it. My top 4 is pretty much impenetrable. I appreciate it, but top 4 is gonna be tough for me. Now we about to get fun because we're gonna go
Woo.
to your number 5.
Okay.
Things are gonna start
My
getting
number
very
5,
interesting.
Irvin Magic Johnson. Now, if you look at MVPs, I believe he has 3 or 4 of them. Steals, led the led the league in steals twice. For a guy who's 6'9", a 6'9" point guard to lead the league in steals twice is not too bad, which means his help defense was damn good, right?
Magic was bad, man.
Magic totally changed the NBA. The NBA went from boring and drab and stationary
And slow,
to
yeah.
all of a sudden
Just get out and run, man.
it was showtime.
Get out and run.
All of a sudden, and that's one other reason why I have Bird a little higher than most, is because when they both came in the league at the same time, they changed the NBA. Nobody was watching NBA basketball until Bird and Magic got there. Nobody was watching. Nobody cared. Everybody was watching baseball.
Right.
So at that
Right.
time, it
They
was
were.
baseball and the
That's very
NFL.
true.
That was it.
Birds impact
Magic
matters.
changed the game. He changed the position he proved that a guy at 6'9", if you have the skill set, you can be a successful point guard in the league. Because before him, point guards were 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", maybe. I think Tiny Archibald was 6'1",
Yeah. Small man.
right? So, guards weren't it wasn't natural to see a 6'9" point guard with that kind of handle and that kind of court vision.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
Magic easily is a top 5 player because not just his championship pedigree, but also how he changed how the game was played
Right.
in so many ways.
I got him at 4.
Oh, wow.
I've got
My
Magic
man.
at 4. I got Magic at 4, man. Everything you said, but he is what whenever everybody talks about can you facilitate a team to their maximum, they're talking about what Magic did with those Lakers. He played with Kareem. Kareem had to leave. He meshed into getting worthy on those teams, and they still ran. They still dominated the league. They were unbelievable, man. Like it's
Mhm.
just like Magic. I have Magic at 4. I know you had him at 5. Magic, I had at 4. We gonna
Okay.
hop to your, we said everything we need to do to number 4 for you.
My number 4 for me, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, Kareem probably should be number 3.
Sure
I
should.
probably should flip that pick.
You
But
sure should.
I sure should.
But you're not
But
going to. This your
I
list,
think it's
baby.
more. I think it's
Stand
more
on your own.
sentimental reasons, but I'll get to my number 3 later.
Right.
Number 4 for Kareem was just listen, man.
Listen.
Until 1 and 2 came along, Kareem was the greatest player ever. I mean, it's just it was without to me
the most unblockable shot in the world.
Yeah, the most unblockable shot ever. He
was the best
played good defense. He rebounded well, and people don't give Kareem credit for how well he ran the court. He ran the court well for a big man. But the problem was with those Lakers teams, you had guys, wing players that were so fast getting down court. Kareem was there to clean up a lot of stuff. But he was the most unstoppable shot ever. I mean,
he's got a lot of. Listen, he's still right now number 1 in points. That's a lot of points he has.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of damn points, Kareem.
And look how many years it's gonna take someone. The next person closest to get him is LeBron. LeBron has to play 2 more full seasons to get there.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. So look how long it's taking him to get there.
That's a lot of damn points.
That's a lot. That shows how great Kareem was. Kareem was just
right. Now we're going to 3. I got Kareem at 3.
Kareem.
I can't the top 3 is simple for me. The top 3 I thought was gonna be simple for you, but we talked about Kareem. We just gonna build up. I'm gonna just slowly scroll down, and you tell me when you're ready for the world to see who your 3rd best player of all time is, man. This is your number 3 ever.
Now, my number 3, put him up there. Now, I'm going to have a whole lot of people crying in their milk about Kobe Bryant. And maybe my pick as an OG is a little sentimental. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm looking at his passing. Maybe I'm looking at his daughter passing with him, and I'm all emotional over it. You know, your 2 sisters, I think about what would happen if it was me, and you know, and maybe that's a part of it. And I'm not going to take the emotions away from it when it came to Kobe. And I think a lot of people are putting that into their analysis when it comes to Kobe. But I also see a 5-time champion.
Yes.
I also see that he grew up those last 2 championships.
He did.
I see how he and Pau Gasol and Ron Artest and that team played against Boston when Boston was up 3-2. I remember Kobe growing up and being not so much of a me guy. He learned how to trust other people later in his career.
Yep.
I think that growth is overlooked with him. I think people don't see that as much as they should. I think Kobe defensively was as good as anybody in the league. He played one-on-one defense.
He did.
At a high level his entire career. As much as he liked to shoot the ball and score, he felt he earned it on the defensive end by trying his best to lock down his guy.
Right.
And I think as he grew, especially after Shaquille left, I think he learned to grow into a better player than people give him credit for. He was always an offensive guy, a highlight show. I remember a commentator once saying there's not a greater in-game dunker than Kobe Bryant. Like Kobe Bryant was just, other than maybe Vince Carter, there was nobody better. He was just great in many ways, offensively, defensively. And I think that at the end of his career, having 5 championships, winning the league MVP, being a scoring champion, multiple time scoring champion, I think that his stats get overlooked a little bit because he seemed so selfish in the early part of his career that he was just about me. But I think towards the last 5-6 years of his, especially the last 8 years, I would go as far as 8 years of his career, I can't find a better player in the league than Kobe when he was at his best.
I mean, I can. You know, we're about to get to him.
Yeah, well, we're about other than the names that we're about to get to.
I'm about to get to him. I wanted to put him at one. I wanted to put him at 1 so bad. I really did. I wanted to put him at 1 so bad, but I can't do it, man. I gotta put him at 2. I can't put him at one, man.
Oh,
And obviously,
listen,
I'm a Bulls
everybody. I
guy.
want you to screenshot this because 10 years from now, I need you to screenshot this.
It's subject to change, baby. Let
Yes, it
LeBron get
is.
one, two more of them. Listen, I think LeBron James is the best, just basketball, like not just talent wise, is the best
Right.
basketball player I've seen. I think he does more things great than anybody else has that full arsenal of things that they do great. I think he shoots a lot better than people realize. He, at his apex, great defender, fills the gaps, clutch, one of the best passers ever. He's going to lead the league in scoring. I mean, he's going to lead the NBA in history of scoring.
Hmm.
He could lead the league in scoring every year if he chooses to. He led the league in assists when like he's a rebounding machine. Like his IQ is the best IQ I've ever seen on the basketball court. I don't We're watching LeBron. Everyone here has watched LeBron from day one all the way up to now. I don't
Right.
have to get into everything that LeBron has done because we know it. I can't put him at one. I don't know if Jordan's missing the play in. You know what I'm saying? Like the play in,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
Mike's not missing the play in, man. This prime, like, he's not. Mike wasn't missing the. But there's little thing. Mike's not losing to the 2011 Mavs. He's not.
That's, hmm.
I understand that part. But as far as if we're going by just talent, I think
Hmm.
LeBron's the best player ever. But if we're going with the greatest player ever, the more I looked at it, the wider it actually got to the point where I think LeBron is closer to Kareem at three than he
Okay.
is to the number one guy.
Okay.
I think the number one guy is just the number one guy. And I mean, we've got the same number two. I'll scroll down. I put it up there too. Same guy.
My
You've
number
got
two
LeBron at number two.
is
Same guy.
LeBron. And I'll tell you this about LeBron. I remember seeing LeBron in high school when he was at St. Mary's, um,
Is it St. Vincent St. Mary's?
St. Vincent St. Mary's in Ohio. And he came to Trenton here in New Jersey to play in a tournament. And he played a game. I think Plainfield High was in that tournament. Boys High School, Boys and
Okay.
Girls High in New York was in it. LeBron was a man amongst boys then. LeBron, you could see his level of basketball acumen was just
Yes.
different in that, and he was just outstanding as a high school senior. So everything that he's done on a professional level, I am not surprised at. I think that he is easy number two
I agree.
for me.
I agree.
And that doesn't take anything away from Kareem or anybody else, but I think he's an easy number two. I think LeBron might be the smartest player to come along
Yep.
in this generation. I think that LeBron sees the court differently. He sees things differently, and that maybe that allows him to be frustrated when other players don't see the game as way as he does. And I think that happens with great players. They see the game in slow motion, and they expect players to be where
Yeah.
they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and that frustration sets in. You saw it with Jordan. You saw it with, you see it with LeBron. But I think I think LeBron James as a player will, listen, this conversation is going to get real interesting by the time he retires. I'm just going to leave it at that.
It
I
might.
think,
It might. He
you
has
know,
to win. He has to be the guy on at least one more championship.
at least one more.
To get
Yeah.
there. I think he has to get there because we know when you get to number one, like if I wasn't worried about the copyright, I'd be playing the Chicago Bulls. You know what I'm saying? You know it. Turn the lights out at guard.
Yeah.
6'6" from
From
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Come on, man.
Listen.
He's the only one I'm gonna do this for. He's the only one I'm doing this for. 6 NBA championships, 6 Finals MVPs, 5 NBA MVPs. He should have like 7, 8 of them things. 14
Yeah.
time All Star, 3 All Star Game MVPs, 10 All NBA first teams. Somebody gave him a second team because they was hating. Defensive Player of the Year, and a Defensive Player of the Year at a shooting guard, bro.
Listen,
9-time NBA All Defensive First Team, All Defensive. He's the best offensive player ever, and some people argue he's the best defensive player ever. It's Mike, bro. It's Mike, Rookie
it's
of the
Mike.
Year, Rookie First Team, 10 score. He's got 10 scoring titles. B.
Yeah.
He's got 10 scoring titles and 9 NBA First Team defensive. Come on, man. I was bugging putting 3 times. He's led the league in steals 3 different years. What
Yeah.
are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you talking? At this point, what are we talking about? At this
You know,
point, what are we talking about? And he won. He's won the most clutch player, the most exciting player ever to live, the most influential single player ever to. Everybody's got the Jordan sneaker, the most influential guy, the most recognizable athlete in the world, probably.
mhm,
It's Mike, man.
yeah.
It's Mike. I tried. There was a time in my life where I was like LeBron, Mike, and then it just when you start looking at it, it's Mike. It's Mike for
Yeah.
me, and I'm gonna put yours up here just so they know. It's
Yeah.
Mike for you too, man. It's Mike.
And the thing for me, I remember Michael Jordan at North Carolina. I remember um, Michael winning the game, making the game-winning shot against Georgetown.
Right.
They didn't win the championship, and that was as a freshman. His junior year, they should have won the championship that year. They got knocked off. Michael gets to the NBA. People want to say, well, with his first few years, he didn't win anything. Listen, if the first few years the Bulls were trash, let's just see call it what it was. They were trash, man. But Michael once led a Bulls team to the playoffs that had a losing record. Michael scored over 60 points against the eventual NBA champion Boston Celtics.
63 in the Garden, man.
Right?
Everybody knows the play. Bang, bang, bang.
Whenever
you're,
a player,
you're Larry Bird in shambles looking up.
listen, when you're Larry Bird and you say that that's not Michael Jordan, that's God disguised as a human being. So when you get a great player like that to say pretty
Mike,
much
man.
we're done. I need to get ready to retire because this kid right here is going to be unbeatable at some point. Here's another thing about Michael that I respected about those Bulls teams. In today's era where players are looking to go somewhere and team up and build super teams and build
Right.
that thing.
Right.
Michael never asked any player to come play with him.
Right.
Michael felt as if you come here, you got to be willing to play as hard
You
as
gotta
I
be
do.
willing to play, man.
Right?
And you know
So-
what? The Last Dance put it over the top for me, I think, man.
Put it over the top. And the
I
last
really
dance
think it
proved
did, man.
Put it over
I
the
just
top.
looked. I just kept watching. I was like, "This is Mike. Like he's the
Yeah.
best. He's the
Yeah.
best, man."
Michael is the best player that ever. And even off the court, you brought up some good points on how his brand, the Jordan
Yeah,
brand,
man.
is just different. You have a guy. Now I know, and this is for all of you who maybe didn't follow Michael as much as maybe me or my son have. But Michael has this thing with North Carolina, of course. He went to North Carolina. He wore a pair of North Carolina shorts up under his bull shorts every game because he was superstitious that way. Every year, he goes to North Carolina and presents that team with new Jordans. Before anybody else gets them, he makes sure his alma mater gets them. He'll go to other teams and give them Jordans who's not even affiliated with Carolina. When you're a brand like
It's
that,
Mike, man.
you just and he got that brand from his play on the court.
Mike, man.
It wasn't because he was a philanthropist beforehand. He transcended basketball.
Mike,
he-
man. Space Jam.
And even his Space Jam, no offense to
Listen,
LeBron, his
listen. You
Space
had
Jam
the.
movie was better than
You know,
LeBron's
we're never.
Space
Of course it was. We're not going to talk about LeBron. That LeBron might drop down to 3 with that Space Jam movie, but we're talking about but it's Mike. Like you want to talk about? You remember when you had the "Come Fly with Me" tape, and we would just watch
Yeah.
Come Fly With Me, man.
Yeah.
Like we would just watch Come Fly With Me on a loop. Like Mike was
Yeah.
different, man.
Yeah.
That's the
Mike was
top
a different
15.
guy.
Listen, now we got number 2 and number 1 together. This is fun, man. This was a nice. We had the banter. People hate the list. People love the list. It's cool. If you like the list, if you don't like it, remember subscribe. We're gonna do plenty of these, man. We love to
This is
just
gonna be
talk
fun.
about who's the best
At
at
some point,
anything.
at some point we'll
We
get to it.
love best teams. We're gonna get the best. Best single season team. We're gonna break down a lot of things for
Yeah.
y'all, man. Because this is how we talk on the Sunday if we just around each other, just
Yeah.
chopping it up. Now, we appreciate y'all, man. This was a beautiful one. This was a fun one tonight. This was a fun one tonight. I can't
Listen,
believe you had
leave your
Larry Bird
comments,
that damn high.
subscribe, tell people about the show. We're on every
Yes.
Thursday, 8:00. We're going to be
Yes.
bringing it to you. We won't give you a preview of what's next, but we will be giving you best teams. Football season's coming. College football's coming.
Yes.
It's going to be a Roll Tide fest every week.
Roll
So
damn Tide
please
forever.
understand, if you don't like Alabama, you might not want to listen.
We appreciate y'all, man. This was a beautiful one. Thanks for showing up. We back next Thursday with another one.
Yes,
For the Quiet Storm. You know what? We're gonna move this out the way because we're not gonna act like they don't know who you are. For the Quiet Storm, we gotta put the name up there one more time for them.
That's
Ace,
right.
we appreciate y'all, man. Like, subscribe. We got beautiful every Thursday. We are right back here for another one, man. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thanks,
Y'all take
everybody.
care. Have a
Appreciate
great
you.
hot 4th of July. Be safe out there. Get your barbecue on. Get your fireworks on. And don't Jason Pierre-Paul yourself. I love you, Giants. What up, Jason? Appreciate you for being alive. Be safe out there. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yep.